every single time. The Trundle also really rising in ban priority. Haven't seen it picked that much just because it keeps hitting the bans. People are not being allowed to pick it at the moment at all. It is just going to be a takeaway right here of the Azir. Now, ooh, I was going to say, I think you want to take something a little bit more standard, potentially, into the mid lane. Maybe an Orianna to just buy you some time, but never mind. Ultra Prime, they're feeling aggressive. They want to get Baiye involved. Now, you're really daring ThunderTalk right here to allow that Nami through. The Nami very, very strong as a pairing at the moment, but the Milio also pretty strong alongside it if you do potentially want to go that way. ThunderTalk, what can you do in the bot lane? Because going toe-to-toe with a Lucian, even without any of its premier pairings, is still incredibly hard.
At least Bloxer, we're going to have an exciting bottom lane this time.
Yeah.
Maybe at least on one side. But I'm hoping that, like you're calling out, TT answer this with aggression of their own. For now, they're going to play it a bit safe, get a comfortable mid laner here for SeTab. Maybe SeTab now gets to play the scaling-oriented player of the TT composition. As we have a Skarner hover here for Aki, wants to continue to be a pretty good facilitator. I want to see 1xN and Feather. I'll shoot my shot here. Caitlyn Lux has been getting picked, you know, from MSI coming out of it. That's a really good neutralizing bottom lane that makes this Lucian's life hell out of lane. And, well, it looks like Ultra Prime are playing to play aggressively in that lane is Saber. XiaoXia thrown down.
Okay, now that's not quite the facilitator that I was expecting,
No,
but it isn't not a facilitator, to be fair. That ulti can be massive in these big team fights, especially when you've got something like a Skarner that's going to be running straight at you. If ThunderTalk want any other champions that are going to sprint straight at you, you've got a great anti-engage comp, but also that miasma is going to be huge, and you're going to get even more priority out of it right here because that Ambessa also wanting to dash around as well. Interesting to pick that one up into the XiaoXia.
So, I have an interaction question. I assume Miasma, does that cancel out Ixtal's impact as Skarner's running through it? I wonder how that works. Is this, it's a speed. I think it's a speed up, not a dash. I wonder. I guess we're gonna find out, right? Because I assume that's why Saber picks the XiaoXia in part to try and shut down the Skarner. We have very, diametrically opposed drafts coming into the second phase here, Bloxer. Bottom lane locked up for Ultra Prime, top side locked up for TT, and that's going to make these bans very, very specific going into this second ban phase.
Absolutely it is. I like the ban away of the Jarvan. That's something that could follow up really well, and you love getting a cage down into the culling. That can be a really nice combo. I do also like the Rel pickup away from ThunderTalk right here. I think it works well with Ultra Prime's composition, but it also removes a little bit of potential priority away from the Misfortune, which otherwise could have a decent setup with this composition right here out of ThunderTalk. They're going to take away a couple of those aggressive, miserable matchups right here for the Lucian. The Kai'Sa not going to be allowed into the backline either, and I think that does force ThunderTalk into going a little bit later on into the game. The Aphelios, I think it's not the best at the moment. I gotta be honest, I've not been loving it. It is going to be locked in by 1xN. I would usually prefer something like a Jinx, but I think in this game specifically, the Aphelios is fine. He's just going to need some support from the teammates to be able to keep him alive here. And
it does have some agency into the Lucian. It really just depends on your gun combinations, right? If you start out with that long-range green fire, it can really make the Lucian's life difficult, but I'm with you. I'm still going to keep saying it, like, 1xN does play the Caitlyn, but they're not going to get that aggressive bottom lane. See Ultra Prime continuing through with their draft here. They are going to lock in the Sejuani with a melee top here for Jian, so a lot of scaling damage and an aggressive bottom lane coming across here for Ultra Prime. What does Feather want on this R5 to try and counter it? I wouldn't hate it. I like it. I like it.
Yeah. I can understand the Thresh idea because you're looking very much to save one person with that Lantern, but I do much prefer the Renata right here. You've got a lot of champions that are going to look to sprint straight at you, and that hostile takeover should be huge right here for ThunderTalk. Still, these compositions are very, very different in a lot of ways. They both do want to go for these team fights, though. But how they're going to get to these team fights and how they want to execute on them, not similar at all. Looking at ThunderTalk right now, you are putting a lot on either the anti-engage out of that hostile takeover, or on Hoya and Aki getting some massive backline access to break open these team fights and allow 1xN and SeTab to sit and hit, because the actual damage output between a Ryze and Aphelios is disgusting. That is so much damage, but, they're going to be looking right into the face of a Jax Evolution and of a Cassiopeia. Do they ever get to deal their damage?
We keep pulling back to it, right? The rise and fall of TT as a team. But I can remember clearly in my mind when I watched Hoya in, Game 5, the equivalent of what we're at Game 3, locking in a Camille into Bin, a carry top laner, and running him over. That feels like eons ago. But another spot for him here with that Mbessa in a comp against a composition that is completely designed to shut him down. Maybe we'll jinx it again once more, Bloxer. We'll have to see as we get set to go into the Rift for a final time between TT and Ultra Prime.
It's going to be very, very exciting to see who can pick up this win. The winner is going to grab their first win of the split. Loser, unfortunately, is going to be 0-2, and that puts them in a rough spot at the very beginning of this split number 3. Let's see it.
We are on to the Rift here. Some very fun new additions to the split 3 meta. Saber looking to make a name for himself and slither Ultra Prime up those standings with this Cassiopeia. Fans start going to come across here. Hoya maybe looking to find some bottom lane cheese early, but not going to find anything Gouda to play with. And he goes back towards his top side here. Just the classic wards coming across here to try and track clears. As we finally get a game with 2 tank junglers. Make those clears slow, but SeTab going to get poked down by XiaoXia. Nothing much to find there.
I'm going to take just a little bit of damage right now. Yeah, like I said, tank junglers that we get all of a sudden, and I really do like the Sejuani. I think it works really well alongside that Rel, alongside that Jax. You can stack up those E's very, very quickly. It can make that permafrost just so difficult to try to play into. At the same time, Arky right here on this Skarner. Hang on, bot lane.
It's the full down. Both bottom lanes burn their heal. Baiye using the barrier as well to continue to force the aggression.
Look at those wards.
Just like game 1 as well. Feather's chunked super low early on here.
Yeah.
And it's going to give Ultra Prime pretty comfortable control of this bottom lane.
I'm not quite sure why Feather and 1xN decided to step up there. Like, you lose this 1v1, 2v2 very, very obviously. Everybody knows that the Lucian is just going to be able to step up and chunk massive damage, and that already gets the heal out. To be fair, it was slightly more of those. Some of the spells used up by Ultra Prime, they lose the barrier and the heal.
Oh, wow.
Oh my, but Flash is just gone as well.
Loving the aggro Rel coming out from the Ultra Prime support. He is basically on his own claimed critical summoners.
Yep.
As 1xN's Flash off the table for the next 5 minutes.
And that could be really, really key. We'll have to keep watching down in this bottom lane because you have to play it like this, right? You have to keep getting aggressive.
Again! He won't stop, and maybe XiaoXia bit off a little more than he could chew this time as the handshake comes around from Feather, and all right, XiaoXia, I think they've figured out your scheme here, but hey.
But
yeah, Junhao.
If you bring friends.
Feather face checks. 1xN, remember, doesn't have flash, but does get access to that Gravitum. So he has some CC behind him, and that should buy enough space here. Junhao's going to return to the blue buff he was kind of poking around with. But Aki not going to have to jockey against him for that blue buff. Junhao feeling a little bit homeless here, just trying to run around and see where he can set up shop. He's going to show mid and just cross over to pick up the Scuttle Crab spawning not too far away. But this does really slow down Junhao. He's miles behind on a clear.
He's really delayed. You can see both in the bottom lane and in the mid lane he was looking towards that Flash Arctic Assault, but you just don't really have the follow-up from your friends at this point, and you don't really have the lanes in a state where you can go for that play. Right now would be a great time to go and try to pressure onto 1xN and Feather, but obviously that's not going to happen right now. You've already been spotted heading up towards the top side of the map. ThunderTalk's bot lane only stepping up that far because they know they've got Arky in the area as well, and so even though you get some early pressure right here from Ultra Prime's bot lane, it doesn't actually result in anything going over. In fact, small CS advantage already claimed right here by 1xN.
All those haymakers thrown early.
Yeah.
Bottom lane relaxes to a statement. Like you're calling out, 1xN is comfortable in. Third game in a row, he's going to pick up a pull, signify that he is all about scaling to be the team fight menace of future. Eyes have to go back towards Aki. The hero of game 2 has a lot more control over the Rift currently. With a slight camp lead, he's going to deploy back out towards this top side. We'll see if any lane swaps come across here as Jiyoung goes for his reset, but Rub's still a far ways away, and the Dragon is first to come around, so we'll see if Aki just clears his second wave of camps back down towards that Drake and wants to play for it.
You would expect that the early Drake priority is going to come through. Ultra Prime, they've been pretty good for having that early priority around these objectives. XiaoXia just going to go in again. Goodbye to Feather's HP.
Oh, I love it. Gets the stun first with the piercing lance, then goes for the crash down, and again, Feather at about 15% HP. His heal's back up, but he's going to take his reset. Maybe with that unsealed spellbook, might get teleport up and be able to get back here, but XiaoXia is making it known his Rel is not to be trifled with in lane.
Every single time the Feather steps up, he gets sent packing back to base, and it's really, really rough to try to play out. It leaves 1xN alone time and time again. You can see XiaoXia even sat over the edge of the wall right there, potentially looking for another play. Aki now getting chased around in his own jungle right here, but with the bot lane pressure, with the mid lane pressure, you can see it's really tricky for Aki to be able to actually step up, and at least the vision around this early Drake is very much going to be Ultra Prime favored. They're not, though, going to presser it and actually try to start it up.
They're making it clear that the bot half of the map is theirs to play with in this early game. Tons of pings still coming down towards that Dragon. Aki has started it up. Ultra Prime allocated so many resources taking over this side of the jungle, have so much of the tempo here, but one timer for TT, and they pick up the Dragon.
Wait,
Junhao
what?
cannot steal it. He goes in. Petrifying Gaze is not going to land onto Aki. The bailout comes across, and Aki is saved and flashes out. Complete 007 maneuver, and now TT can just run through the rest of Ultra Prime. Junhao has to flash over a wall, but SeTab will follow him because he is not in his own jungle. He is in the property of TT. Dragon feats of warfare just like that. Over to ThunderTalk.
There we go, ThunderTalk, and that's just a misstep right here from Ultra Prime. They've got themselves pressure in the bot lane, pressure in the mid lane, but Junhao decides to go and step up and try to get himself his blue buff, and that just allows ThunderTalk into the pit first. And Ultra Prime, when they try to force their way back in, they're just not quite able to make the steal happen even. In fact, it was 1xN that ends up picking this one up. Both of the junglers mess up their smites a little bit. But on the turnaround, red, white, don't fight. Even this early on into the game, 1xN is hitting right now, and they are just running through their opponents. Look at this right at the very end. There's no reason for Aki to step up and steal this kill away from SeTab. Yes, he's low on mana. Look at this. Look at the emote. Look at the emote. Sad beat.
There's also just no world where Junhao needs to burn his flash over that wall into every jungle. I mean,
no, just take
it's Group Nirvana, Bloxer. It's Group Nirvana. We should just expect it at this point, right?
That's true. That's very, very true. At some point, that's just the way that these teams play. But it's good to see ThunderTalk pick themselves up a good early advantage, and Aki once again jumping out to a decent advantage here. Very different champion, of course, than the Lee Sin, but still being able to get ahead right here onto this Skarner puts you in a very strong position. Looks like he might be heading towards that Heartsteel, and you can start stacking that one up. You can just be a menace. Plenty of damage available to you, and especially alongside Hoya in the backline, but also so tanky that it's just miserable to try to play into this champion.
I'm glad you brought up that likely Heartsteel coming across here. We do see Jiyoung get some trades in the 1v2. But Aki, you know, the Heartsteel, he has grass secured already, and he's into a really low-range comp, so he's going to be able to get a lot of health value out of that Heartsteel now that he is ahead early. Right now, though, got to focus on these grubs, as we do see Junhao is able to steal away one, but TT want to keep the pedal to the metal, knowing they have such a good early lead, but they have to be careful, leaving one of their laners to straggle back. One Glacial Prison, lockdown, and Saber gets his first kill of the game on his XiaoXia.
There you go. That's something you can really do with this Sedge. Just immediately lock somebody down, and as soon as you misstep right there as SeTab, there's nothing you can do. You're just going to be dead. Like I said, critical that that's going to be Saber picking up that kill, because there are going to be a lot of tanky members right here, and XiaoXia going to be a big part of being able to get through these tankier champions. The miasma, again, as we keep saying, going to be massive as well for just stopping a lot of these engages coming through from the ThunderTalk members. Still, though, ThunderTalk going to be happy with the way that this early game has played out. They've got themselves about a 1,000 gold advantage, 2 of the grubs, and the Drake to boot. So they have put themselves in a good early spot, and they've got a decently late-game scaling team composition as well, right? When we're looking at these compositions, we're thinking about it being Baiye and XiaoXia who needs to get the advantages, not necessarily ThunderTalk.
A lot of scaling still to play later on this game, especially in that mid lane, which really hasn't been the focus for either of these two mid laners. A lot of facilitation for both of them. Talia games, Annie games, the Markley made a massive impact. And now they have their turn to try and scale and be the late game threat of their team. But that is a ways away for now. This turret assault coming across here from Jiyoung. They have that demolished, be able to chunk away some of these plates, and it's helping keep Ultra Prime fairly close in the goal despite how disastrous that first dragon was.
It is, and it's very important for them to keep it close right here, falling behind with this composition. It's not completely disastrous, right? You do have tools to get yourself back into this game. It's not like we saw from ThunderTalk Game number 1 where they fell behind and, well, maybe your Smolder wins the game for you, or maybe he doesn't, but you don't really have anything else to play around. They've got angles, but still, they want to keep it as close as possible because you don't want to dig yourself back out of the hole right here. You want to be able to go toe-to-toe, especially at the point at which your Lucian is going to be very strong. That's not right now. First item still has not been completed by Baiye yet, but he will be well on the way towards that one. 30 seconds now until the next Drake is going to spawn. It's going to be a Cloud Dragon, a decent individual Drake to grab. That being said, nobody's really focusing around the bottom side of the map right now. It looks like we're going to get some potential dive and counter dive happening top lane. Ultra Prime, at least they were thinking about it.
A lot of pigs coming back, maybe them collapsing towards this mid lane. Baiye might be the target here for Aki, but Ixtal's impact does whiff. Can Junhao find an angle with this Glacial Prison first? Yes, he does get the slide by hit onto Aki. His Heartsteel doesn't really stacked up enough by now, but makes to grasp from being first to a legendary item. Aki can tank so much early damage and walk out scot-free.
Yeah, the fact that he's already got that Heartsteel completed means he's fine. He does get chunked out for about half of his HP, though, and that is going to make stepping up for this Drake very, very tricky. I feel like as ThunderTalk, you might want to just concede this one. There's no point in throwing yourself away to fight. Aki even just smoked that Gromp, so he's not really looking for the steal here.
Here's the thing, though. Ultra Prime used 2 ultimates to get really low value out of Aki. XiaoXia's going to try and going off the side. Impale gets onto 2 into the hostile takeover. Aki serves them up on a platter, and the rest of TT chopped down at the bit. Nothing for Ultra Prime to try and find on the backside. Sure, they get Aki, but he provides a golden ticket to a massive lead in Game 3 for his squad.
Sure, okay. As soon as he smoked that Grump, I was like, oh, they're going to leave that one alone. But ThunderTalk, they don't know the meaning of that word. They're now going to chase it down onto the bottom side of the map a little bit as well.
Done?
Do they want to go for this play? No. Oh, hang on. Saber's alone now. Saber's alone now. Yeah.
All right. Wave coming in. No flash for Saber. XiaoXia trying to run his way back towards Junhao. Can he get close enough to save their slippery snake? No. The head is cut off. There's no more coming back on.
I was so sure that ThunderTalk had waited too long to make that dive happen. XiaoXia and Junhao were sprinting down the bottom lane to try to help out their mid laner, but still, they're going to be able to pick up that kill onto Saber. And Slayer, look at where the kills went during all of those plays.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
That's a 303 of Felios.
It is indeed. We'll have a look back at this one. This is Aki with no smite, so he knows he's not trying for the steal right here, but the 2-man Impale straight on into the hostile takeover, just chunks people through. He even gets the bailout through and just goes down. Jan going into the backline, but it still results in the death of that Jax, and that's a ton of kills and the dragon going over to ThunderTalk.
We saw shades of this in Game 1. Early on, the ability for Aki to sync up his ultimates with his teammates. It was the equalizer and the cease and desist. Game 2, he came across with clutchly sin kicks, and now he's layering double 2-man impales, hostile takeovers. Starting to see more and more like Aki may have just needed a fresh new set of colors and a new team to try and pilot home. Can he get the Game 3 win, the series win here? A series that, if they find the win, ThunderTalk, he would markedly be the MVP of the series the way he's played in Games 2 and 3.
Absolutely, and we'll see as well if 1xN is going to be able to do the most damage in the game 3 games in a row. So far, so good. Got the Collector as that first item, interestingly. So, just looking to secure the ends of those kills once again. Have a look in the picture-in-picture at the replay that ended up happening. SeTab had to flash away, so that is going to be a critical spell that he's not going to have for another 3.5 minutes or so. That could be pretty big. Once we get into these team fights, you need that mobility on the rise to keep you safe.
Does now have Feather to cover him, and the vision's getting cleared out to provide him a bit more space. ThunderTalk, just such a audacious gold lead. 3K up in about 14 minutes. they can really just, you know, control the wave states how they like and wait for the neutrals where they just win fights outright. So I like to see them kind of 1-3-1ing around the map, making sure their side lanes are protected, and they'll wait for this Rift Herald to spawn in about 20 seconds. You got a Realm Warp for SeTab to get over there, and Hoya already in position. Maybe instead first they'll look for a pick here. XiaoXia not going to be close enough to jump onto just yet.
Everybody just kind of looking at each other right now, feeling each other out. XiaoXia and SeTab, they just walk past each other as well at this point, but this is going to be the calm before the storm. We've now got the Rift Herald available on the map, and it very much has been as these objectives going over to ThunderTalk in this game. Teleport coming in as well right here. I think that's going to be XiaoXia's teleport. It is indeed. Do they want to collapse onto Hoya? It's possible here.
They're at least going to get control of the Rift Herald. Not a lot of deep vision for TT to know exactly where Junhao is hiding at. SeTab walks about halfway up bot river, thinking he might have to Realm Warp over, and then returns back to lane. Saber does not have teleport either. SeTab's teleport comes up now, so TT, good use of patience there now, knowing that they have much more control over the map, and if a fight breaks out, they should have man advantage.
Absolutely they do, and you can see the respect right here finally from Ultra Prime. They recognize that this is just not their fight, and they're going to have to head down towards the bottom lane instead, because these objectives, they come thick and fast. We've now got another one spawning in just 40 seconds time. It's going to be an Ocean Soul coming through, and gotta be honest, both of these teams would kind of love one. You've got enough tanks to really make use of it. And Soul Point already on the table for ThunderTalk. Interesting, they use the Herald right away, and that's just going to crack open this mid lane tier 1 tower.
Keep the tempo
They don't
up.
lose too much for it either.
Just keeping that tempo.
Driver's license.
Bringing even more gold. I don't think there's enough charge to get Aki down towards that bot tier 1. So just using it to make sure he gets out of dodge in case the collapse comes his way. Still, knocking down mid tier 1 turret. TT are just going through the motions, checking off box after box, and Ultra Prime, not even a whimper of a response, and how can they really find any right now?
Right now they've put themselves into quite the deficit, and it's going to make these team fights very, very tricky. 4,000 gold behind. Still, they've got themselves that early control around the pit. Good thing that Aki was able to pick himself up with that Scuttle Crab, but there's a lot of darkness right now for ThunderTalk to try to step into.
Death Rush. Oh no, SeTab.
Don't do it.
The one to walk up, throws a Q in. They do see that Junhao goes towards the Drake. Now they can get better control of this very pivotal river brush. Culling down. Aki's going to gobble that up like Sunday breakfast. He does not care at all. Stacking health, so one ultimate comes off the table for Ultra Prime. Using ultimates for little value is what cost them that last fight. We'll see if they can sync them better this time around as Hoya's looking for the flank. Glacial Prison going to come down. Aki gets the McHale's, and once again, just absorbing ults like nothing. Gets control of the Drake, and a handshake on a Junhao. He's dead just like that. Hostile takeover. Gonna hit onto both Saber and XiaoXia. Hoya not able to find the kill, but it's okay because Xiang dies on the backside of the fight. 1xN has all the damage, and the Realm Warp brings all of TT to the forefront. Another scattered pick down. 3-0. TT are rolling in game 3.
And they're going to be able to turn back around and pick themselves up this Ocean Drake. Soul Point completed here for ThunderTalk. They look shaky in game number 1. But game 2, game 3, they'd be looking a heck of a lot better. And a lot of it is off the back of Aki. Brilliant play previously for him on the Lee Sin. And now, as you said, he was just chilling at the front line, right? This is him having taken a full cull. Just takes the Glacial Prison to the face as well. And he just doesn't care. And now, 1xN, the hostile takeover, buys him space. And even with a Jax on his face, he doesn't care. Hoya stepping up. Aki stepping up. This is the kind of team composition we wanted to see here out of ThunderTalk. One where 1xN has the space to play the game, and he is paying it back for them right now. 5-0-4. He's got a massive shutdown on his head.
1,000 gold if he can get that guy down. Don't know if Ultra Prime have the necessities for that at this current point. You can look at the item discrepancies. It's 1 to a half item lead across the board right now.
Ooh.
Soul Point.
Look at the Heartsteel right now on Junhao.
Yeah,
I see. Ages ago.
It's both sides of the coin here, Bloxer, to a good Heartsteel game. I mean, it makes sense for Aki how short range Ultra Prime are. Hey, all right, you know what? You shouldn't have talked crap about that. Junhao, there you go. You get some Heartsteel stack.
He gets one. Hey, we just needed to highlight it, and then he was able to get that first Heartsteel stack. Still, It's rough out here right now for Ultra Prime, isn't it? They're just down so much, specifically in the bottom lane, right? That's a 3.2k gold lead on 1xn.
Finally, a team having success outside of his attention span. It's just letting him do what he does best. Like we talked about, even in the losses, this guy putting up consistent, good numbers in lane, in CS. This is what happens when you take him off the mantle. The enemy team doesn't need to focus on him constantly. He can really just let it rip. And so the tune of TT being up nearly 7,000 gold at 20 minutes. They were up nearly 7,000 gold before Otacon spawns.
Yeah, crazy lead. Crazy lead, and it means that you do have these objective bounties that you can pick up right here, so this is going to be something, but look at the support that Saber needs to be able to step up and take one tower. He's got his jungler and his support in the area, and that is just going to open up Atakan all the way. There's no way that you can step up towards this one. I do like the decision here, I've got to be honest. Taking these towers is going to be critical. Ooh! Jiang teleports topside as well, so they are looking to just melt through this tower, but I felt like they were going to get that tier 2 tower anyway.
This is definitely a bit wacky. You've also got Baiye scrambling to farm jungle camps as he tries to get to items to make him important. And I think Ultra Prime may have stuck around too long up in the top lane because they're going to end up actually just trading top tier 2s across the board. So that little bit of gold they felt like they got back, it's really just the objective bounties that give them that advantage. And, well, hello, Hoya, all right. I know you guys are ahead, but you're not that far ahead. Luckily, Ambessa has 2 billion dashes, and he gets himself out of the 1v2.
Yeah, there's no miasma right there from Saber to keep him locked down. It's going to be just fine. Still, we were talking about that 8k gold lead. It did get cut down by quite a big chunk. Like you said, those objective bounties are huge, so good decision-making right here out of Ultra Prime to not go for a big fight at a point at which they had no hope of winning it. Still, though, it's not like they massively outscale their opponents. They really don't in this situation, and the longer this game goes, the more damage the Ryze is going to be able to do, the more damage that 1xn is going to be able to do right here on this Aphelios, and the tankier that these key members of ThunderTalk are going to be. So as Ultra Prime, yes, it's good to just delay things a little bit, but giving over all of these neutrals means that this gold lead that we're seeing right here, this 5,000 gold lead, doesn't actually reflect just how far ahead ThunderTalk are in terms of just those stats.
And also, on top of that, stylistically, how they neutralize Ultra Prime. It's a Lucian, Cassiopeia, Jax composition for damage dealers. That is low range. And now you've got an Aphelios and a Ryze who are much further ahead and outrange basically your entire team. Combine that with a tanky Skarner that we've seen gobble up ultimates, and even if you wanted to try and force a comeback fight here, just like throw all caution to the wind, how do you even get close enough to those that 1xn SeTab Ryze Aphelios combo?
Hope and pray that they make a mistake at this point. Like,
well,
it's
on
really,
AL right now,
really
so
tricky.
I don't know how you hope.
That would help. Hope would help in this situation. I'll be honest, that would probably make this a little bit easier of a game to play. Yeah, Ultra Prime is going to be very tricky. You're going to be relying right here on Junhao hitting a really big ulti. If you can hit a massive Glacial Prison and then full follow-up, there's a chance. But the problem with that is it's that last pick Renata, right? The Renata was so nice. We were very happy when it got locked in for good reason. Hostile Takeover has just shut down everything that Ultra Prime have wanted to do.
Nothing more fun than elite Renata gameplay. Yeah, I mean, these calls are getting worse and worse. Again, it's just Aki. It's just like last time. It's deja vu. He eats a Culling, he eats a Sejuani ult. At least gets Hoya to TP over, but again, Ultra Prime, all of their tools are down to even try and force a fight. They have to stand there, hope for a 50-50, hope to flash on top of Hoya. No, they get chunked up with another beautiful Impale. Hostile takeover, it's all layering into a buzzsaw named ThunderTalk. Goodbye, Ultra Prime. Sayonara to the tune of another ace home once they chase down Jiyoung.
Oh, Jiang, he's just about getting away 1xn. He's got some very short-ranged guns in his pocket right now. The attempted recall coming through. Feather should spot him out here. Yep, does stop that one.
Feather
now. Does Feather win this?
No,
Feather plus Wolves.
Ignite?
Plus Ignite. Ooh,
come on, Wolves.
Come on, you got this. Come on, Feather.
Oh, the Q.
Come on, Feather. The teleport in from SeTab.
No, come on, let Feather do it. Let Feather do it, SeTab. Oh.
Oh,
he tried to TP out. That's desperation by definition. What a game 3 from ThunderTalk.
Oh yeah, that was another gorgeous fight right here, and it's Ultra Prime not finding the angle with these abilities at all. At the same time, I do kind of get it, right? You're 4,000 gold behind, your culling basically just tickles, but putting these ultis into Arki, it's about as useful as just chucking them into the dragon itself, right? It's not doing anything for you right here, and just step up into the meat grinder. The worry I had for the ThunderTalk composition, right, was that Saber was going to get ahead, Baiye was going to get ahead, and they could just pump damage. But these are relatively short-range champions, and when your tanks are not tanking, and you don't deal a lot of damage, you're trying to step up way too close, and ThunderTalk, they're just finding it way too easy. Still, potential another fight is just going to be the Baron taken down. XiaoXia had the flank there, but I don't know that that saves you.
This is just over. It's back it up, folks. There's no way unless CT make an overstep here. XiaoXia is going to come down with the flank. They're starting to layer the Magnet Storm into the counter-strike. Jiyoung's getting 3 hits on the 1xn, but the bailout and the hostile takeover.
He lives!
It's MVP Feather again to save his squad. Ace, Baron, time to pack this series up, ThunderTalk.
This one is gonna be over. 1xn living there is crazy, and like you said, it's all down to Feather. He has been gorgeous in this game. The hostile takeovers have been perfect. The bailouts have been perfect too, and a deathless ADC is his reward. ThunderTalk, they were a bit shaky in game number 1, but they have turned it on here in games 2 and 3.
A game 1 marred by topsy-turvy gameplay, mistakes, and a loss for ThunderTalk in the rearview mirror. The future and the present is now. Their first series win of Split 3.
There we go. Oh, I'm excited. I love to see ThunderTalk win. When they win, they are just such a fun team to watch. And Arki stepping up now 2 games in a row. That was a really, really well-played Skarner game right there.
What a start here. Aki a bit shaky against EDG, but bouncing back.
Yeah.
For all the talk about the jungle position in the LPL, Aki making a statement in his second series for Group Nirvana.
We need more players around 1xn that can really unlock this guy, right? Feather has always been a pretty decent support alongside 1xn. You never have a ADC pop off massively when their support is inting it. It's very hard to do that, so Feather was never really the problem, but we didn't see anybody else fully be able to unlock what we wanted to see out of 1xn. At least in games 2 and 3, Arki was very much able to do that. Obviously, the Lee Sin was a bit more of a carry performance on its own, but right there on the Skarner, that was really nice. And I think what gives me the most hope right here is that this is a team composition that I'm almost certain we saw 100% the same back in Split 2 when they had Beatron on. Like, this is a composition with a lot of champions that they all have played a lot of, that they all like. I would not be surprised if it was exactly the same a couple different times, and I don't know that they ended up winning any of those games really. Whereas here, this was really, really nice out of Arki on the Skarner, was able to just buy so much space, so much time. As we said, he was super, super tanky, and it just all worked out. Obviously, I think we're going to end up giving our MVP right here to 1xn, but I don't know. I'd give it to Feather here. Feather was on point.
Yeah, I was going to say, and again, this is, you know, the 80 carry bias. Yeah. I do not think it's 1xn. I think it is Feather. I think it might be Aki. I would go Feather, Aki, and then 1xn where we're at. But yeah, just, again, team win here for ThunderTalk. Yeah. And, you know, going back to Aki, at this level, right, the LPL asking so much of their junglers, to see him play 2 diametrically opposed carry styles in the jungle, right? Yeah. The Lee Sin, the flashy plays, getting the one-shots with the kick sonic wave combos, and then this game just gobbling up ultimates, being that frontline, unmovable scorpion. It's cool to see him back-to-back, because you need to be a complete jungler like that if you want a future in this league.
Absolutely you do, and hey, that was looking good, and this is a really critical win right here for ThunderTalk. Obviously, both of these teams ended up losing to EDG. EDG looking like one of the stronger teams that we've got for ourselves in this Group Nirvana, but Group Nirvana here, 4 teams make it out, 2 teams do not. So picking up these wins right now are going to be critical. And we learn a lot about the makeup of Group Nirvana today, right? We've got the double Group Nirvana, we've had our first matchup right here, but we get to see 2 new teams that we haven't seen previously in our next matchup in LNG and Ninjas in Pajamas, and tomorrow, in our first game of the day, we get to see LGD up against Ninjas in Pajamas. So by about this time tomorrow, we should know what's going on with Group Nirvana. And for ThunderTalk, picking up a win here, really, really important to get themselves up off of the bottom of the standings.
Oh my lord. I know we said it every game, and when I said tops of damage charts, at that time, I think you did more damage than about 3 members of Ultra Prime combined.
Bro was pumping damage. That's
it's
crazy.
so consistent, man. 1xN,
He's great.
The tape does not lie.
No.
But for ThunderTalk, the tape looks really good in this game 3. It was just right out the jump. Game 1 and 2, even though ThunderTalk come out on top in game 2, had its topsy-turvy moments. This one, completely one-sided, completely dominated.
Absolutely. As you said, it was back and forth in the previous 2, but ThunderTalk just grabbed a hold of this one by the scruff of the neck and played it through. And I think what makes me most excited about this game 3 is the fact that this was the composition that worked as a composition, and then they played it really well. Game number 1, the comp doesn't work, and they play badly, and it looks terrible. Game number 2, the comp maybe is a little bit odd, unless, of course, your Lee Sin pops off massively, and Arky does just that, and it's fine. But this composition, it works, and then they execute it really well, and that is super nice to see. Again, them losing to an EDG who's at the top of the standings, or them losing to a Ninjas in Pyjamas who we're expecting to be the best team here in Group Nirvana, that's not the end of the world. I think for ThunderTalk, a good split right now is getting themselves one of those best of 5s versus a Group Ascend team. I think I'd be happy with that for them, and this was a really good start, and it gives me hope for this team going on forwards. Yes, they made mistakes. All of these Group Nirvana teams are going to make mistakes. Hell, whoever ends up winning Group Ascent is still going to have made a heck of a lot of mistakes, right? This is the LPL. We don't play clean League of Legends here.
What?
But we all watched MSI, right? We all watched it. Don't trouble me here. We all watched MSI.
As much fun as, perma game 5s are, you don't get to all game 5s without a lot of mistakes being made from teams. So I'm with you on that one, Bloxer.
Yeah. But hey, it's fun. It's why people tune in to the LPL. It's certainly why I enjoy this region so much. And hey, that means that even these teams in the bottom group of Nirvana, they can still pick themselves up wins, right? This is a ThunderTalk that even in Group Ascend last time around was still able to pick themselves up 4 wins. That's not a huge amount of wins in 18 games, but it still showed that they were able to take some of these top teams toe-to-toe, pick up a couple of series wins, and picking up this win right here versus Ultra Prime, it's going to do a lot, I think, for their confidence more than anything, right? Getting smacked around by EDG 2-0, that doesn't feel good, especially not in your first game of the split, but hey, they're warming up, they're looking better.
Speaking on warming up, right, and the difference from Split 2 Nirvana to Split 3, you have more games, right? There isn't so much pressure on each series to series of a single round robin. And that does bode well here for Ultra Prime as well, even in the O2 spot. 1xN does grab himself his player of the game, the first one of Split 3.
They look at the KDA and the damage number, and then they go, yeah, this kid was doing good.
I would petition that if you have if you have a 4 in your percentage number of damage share, I think you should automatically win player of the game. So you nearly hit 40%. Hey, but we asked for it, Bloxer. We got it. The 1xN, the 1xN pop-off game.
It's
we
so
finally
fun
got in
to
game
see.
3.
Yeah, it's exactly what we wanted to see. And going on forwards, ThunderTalk, if they can replicate that with some strong jungle performances and good 1xN performances alongside Feather, I don't need Hoya and SeTab to do that much. I'll be honest. I think as long as they are just chugging along, doing their thing, not running it down in their lanes, I guess, that's the way that ThunderTalk can pick themselves up wins. It's back to the drawing board for Ultra Prime, though. They really need to rethink what happened to them, especially in that game number 3.
Without a doubt. Next time we'll be seeing Ultra Prime, like you called out, I believe will be against NIP. Or no, Ultra Prime won't be seen for a bit here. No, they'll be taking on NIP next, so that'll get easier for them. ThunderTalk will see next up against LNG. And speaking of LNG, they are on one side of our final matchup. As much fun as Ultra Prime and ThunderTalk were, that was just the appetizer of our day today here on the LPL English unofficial broadcast. The main dish, sides and all, coming your guys' way on the other side of the break. It's NIP taking on LNG. We'll see you guys in a few.